Welcome to the All the Stuff podcast, where we jam about money, clutter, and food, and the real stuff under this stuff. Join me, Lisa Carpenter, your resident food coach, along with my co-hosts, money coach Jen Turrell and clutter coach Lisa Sharp, as we help you release what's weighing you down and heal your relationship with food, money, and clutter from the inside out.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of All the Stuff. I am Jen Turrell here with Lisa Carpenter and Lisa Sharp, where we are going to talk about a lot of stuff. I'm going to leave out the food, money, and clutter for a moment because today we were just talking right before we started recording about winter and mood disorders and energy depletion and just those times when you're feeling kind of and you can't pull it together and keep going without a little intervention of some kind. So I know when I moved from Arizona to Philadelphia for college, the first winter I went there, I started trying to transfer from the school because I thought I hated it there. And it wasn't until springtime when everything blossomed and the campus turned into this riot of color and flowers and warmth and beauty that I realized, oh my God, I don't hate this place. I think I just was really depressed all winter long. Mm-hmm. And it completely changed my outlook for the rest of my college there when I realized I'm used to having a lot of sun coming from Arizona, and when I go for months without it, it really, really affects everything about my life. So I still live in Arizona, so I still get quite a bit of it, but I just came back from 2 weeks in the UK, which was kind of dreary, droopy, rainy, and Lisa, you're there in Vancouver, and other Lisa, you're in Atlanta, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not entirely sure what's happening with the weather there, but we all were kind of having a little droop maybe. So who wants to go first?
I'll go. I find, I have definitely found that to be true for myself. And even in Atlanta, we get a lot of sun here. I mean, it's like, we're filming this mid-March and I have the air conditioning running. Let's put it that way. So, and it's really, really sunny out, and that's pretty typical. But we do have a couple of gray months, and I figured out that I had S.A.D, I don't know, probably about 6 years ago. I was just super, my energy was shot. I couldn't focus. I just felt really lethargic all the time. And I just didn't really, sometimes you can kind of push through and then get some energy by spending some energy, even if you feel like you don't have any, just pushing yourself a little bit can help. And I couldn't even do that. And so I started doing some research on that. I don't know how. Maybe my mom said that to me, like, maybe you should check this out. My mom lives in Flagstaff, Arizona, which is where Jen lives. But nonetheless, wherever that idea came from, or whoever gave me that idea, was so helpful. And I ended up buying a sun lamp from Amazon, which has since broken, and I've been on the market to buy another one. But just after like a week of using that and increasing my fats, I started taking fish oil at the same time that I was doing that, so it was sort of like a little dual boost. Really did help a lot, and like for a couple of winters after that, like December, January, and February are usually pretty gray here. And I was just like, that thing was like stuck in my face. And I just think it's so important, to sort of recognize, like, sometimes we just think it's just us, but there can be environmental causes to our funks, sometimes we're like picking up on other people's energy. Sometimes it's the weather, consistently bad weather can really bum us out. Some people love cloudy weather, so it just depends on the person. But I really do think that's important to kind of look outside of ourselves and see if something extraneous is going on. So, yeah. How about you, Miss Gray Weather, Vancouver?
I'm sighing deeply. I'm grateful that I got outside yesterday because it was sunny out. So in Vancouver, typically on the West Coast, people live here because the weather is mild. But part of the weather being mild, and it looks like Jen is frozen now if you're watching the YouTube video. I don't know what's going on.
It looks like she's taking a nap.
Yeah, she'll be back.
Am I?
Yeah.
I don't see
it. Good. Okay, there you are.
There you are. We're just going to leave that part in. Why I had fun. That was just a really awesome screenshot of you. So typically people live on the West Coast because the weather is mild. Even, you can get outside pretty much all the time. But from November until, February, it's pretty gray here, like all the time gray. So I definitely suffer with seasonal depression. I have a huge sun lamp that goes in my kitchen in late October, and I turn it on every morning while I'm making breakfast for the kids, and they come in, they're like, Mom, turn off the light. I'm like, no, you don't understand. But it's not just light, like, we have to take extra vitamin D as well. You literally, like this year, it's been not only gray, but cold. And as much as everybody says, you got to get outside, and I know I have to get outside, I get cold really fast, like really, really fast. And I don't like being cold, and I don't like being wet. So this is not really the best place for me to live. I think I was supposed to land in California, but
you can come over to me, Arizona.
Right? I need to go to Arizona, which is why my parents travel. So, I've had, a couple trips that have broken up the gray, but it's coming back, and it's like, it's still gray. It's still gray. And it's definitely been impacting my moods. And, the last time Lisa Sharp and I chatted, I was just really under the weather. I'd come back from an event. There was a lot of energy in the room. So it was amazing to meet a lot of amazing people. A lot of my clients were there. But I went to this event straight off the back of my launch, and then into an event where I had, I think I had 7 clients in the room, which was amazing. But like seeing all of them, meeting all of them for the first time was exciting and then depleting. By the time the event was over, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't people anymore. Like I literally got, like we were all sitting at the airport, and I looked at everybody. I'm like, I can't people anymore. I can't even talk anymore. I need to go home. I need to get some sleep. So, and it's, 3 or so weeks later after this event, going on 4 weeks later, it's still between my launch, my event, and just some, shifts going on in my business. I'm feeling incredibly low energy. So I really honor the fact that when I'm feeling off, I don't push through. And some people do put their heads down and say, I'm just going to muscle through. I learned a long time ago that does not work for me. So I still get up and do my workouts because it's important for me to move. I watch the intensity of my workouts. I'm getting to bed earlier. I'm staying in bed later. So I'm trying to do afternoon workouts, which I typically don't do, so I can sleep in more during the day. And I'm really just giving myself time and space to process whatever is shifting for me. I also go get Reiki done. So I really am a throw everything at it type of girl when I'm feeling under the weather. And I try and be as kind and compassionate to myself as possible. So I haven't even been on social media. I think I've posted once, maybe twice in 3 weeks, which most people would say, oh my God, that's the kiss of death for business. What's the kiss of death for me is trying to force myself to do stuff when I'm not feeling it and when the energy is not there, because that's not the energy I want to put out into the world. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And it's a weird feeling. Because it's, and I know that both of you guys understand this, it's, you're not yourself. And it doesn't feel good to not feel like yourself. And, you can't make yourself feel differently than you feel. You just have to be in it, do the things that are going to support you, and then trust that it's going to move past, which it always does for me. But I don't get to decide how long it's going to take or, how quickly it's going to pass. So other than my extra sleep, lots of water, awesome food, lots of omega-3s, which ladies, if you're not taking omega-3s and you wrestle with depression, you definitely want to get those in. Just lots of extra self-care and lots of TLC going down in Lisa land these days.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me of ages ago when you had me get that, what was it, Barleans?
Barleans.
Mm-hmm. And I've realized I'm out and I haven't taken it in quite a while. So I'm going to go get that. Mm-hmm. I never really liked fish oil pills because I felt like I would burp and it would be fishy. But Lisa recommended this amazing thing. Well, I think we should put a link to it.
Yeah, we will put a link to it. So because it was Barleans, it's a flavored fish oil. And there's lots of different products out there now where you can get fish oil that's flavored. NutriSeal has one. There's lots of different brands. Mm-hmm. Barleans, you can get, pina colada, orange swirl, lemon. So you can mix it in with yogurt. You can take it right off the spoon. Your kids will take it off the spoon. But women should at least be getting, 5 milligrams of fish oil a day. So even if you're taking pills, you're looking at about 4 or 5 of those 1,000 milligram pills as a minimum dose, whereas most people are taking like 1. If you're taking something like Barlean's, you're looking at a full tablespoon. If you were taking something like cod liver oil off the spoon, which some people still do that, it would be about a teaspoon. But it's really, really important to get those omega-3s, and they really, really do help boost and elevate our mood. You can also look at flaxseed oil as well. So if you don't want to take fish oil, you can take flaxseed oil. I tend to alternate between the two. Flaxseed oil you can buy, just like an oil. You can't cook with it, but you can add it to your food afterwards. So if I'm having, I made myself a bunch of bone broth because it's easy for me to add things to soup these days. It's kind of a soup weather. Have more soup, right? Great way to add in veggies. Once I've warmed up my soup, then I can stir some flaxseed oil into my soup, so I'm getting my omega-3s in my soup. Fancy restaurants, they always put a little oil on top. You can add it.
Could you add some truffle oil to the flaxseed oil?
You could if you wanted. Different type of molecular structure between a truffle oil and a flaxseed oil, but all oils are good for us. It's just specifically omega-3s help to boost our mood, so they're really important that we get them into our diets, and most women aren't taking enough. And by increasing how much you're taking, if your moods are tanking, you will start to feel better. Not to mention it helps with like PMS symptoms, helps with carbohydrate cravings. And what happens when you're sad? You crave carbohydrates, right? Why? Because you're looking for that serotonin boost. You're looking, like your brain literally is like, do something to help me feel better. So your omega-3s will help curb your carbohydrate cravings as well. So if somebody listening to this podcast, if the one thing they start to do and for the rest of their life, they hear me in their head saying, take your omega-3s, like take them, don't stop taking them, keep taking them till the day you die. Get buried with a bottle, really.
Well, I'm definitely I just made myself a note here to go get more of that.
Okay, can I throw in an organizational tip on top of this?
Yes, please.
Two things. So I've been using Barlean's for, I think, about 2 years now. And every once in a blue moon, I'll run out. But the way that I don't run out of it is that I have an Amazon subscribe and save, and I have it auto sent out, however you say that, every month. So at the beginning of every month, I get a new bottle, and I rarely get like too much or too little. That a month for me personally, I'm the only one that's taking it in my house, and I take a tablespoon a day. So that works out more or less. So I find that to be really, really helpful, because then it's a total no-brainer. The other organizational tip for that, and this is true for any of the self-care things that we're talking about, is use your blasted timer or alarm on your phone, because using I would forget to take that. So I just had an alarm that went off in the evening, like, take your Barlean's. And I was like, okay, I'll go do it. And, and I got into the habit of doing that. And I find that, I have timers on my phone to remind me to have a snack at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. I have, my phone goes bing, bing, bing at me all day long. But, and I also have it to drink water, because I just forget. I get engrossed in what I'm doing. I just totally check out of my body. It's like all brain, no body. And if I don't, have something kind of in my face kind of all day long, I just won't do it. Even, and I get the reminder sometimes, and I just go like, whatever, and I don't do it. So it's not like, it's like foolproof, but it does help you, and like if there's anything that we can do, some people are sort of, I use that with my clients a lot, using timers on your phone for stopping and starting something. It could be exercise, could be self-care, it could be whatever it is, decluttering, but also using alarms on your phone. And people will sort of like, they kind of roll their eyes at me when I suggest this, because it's sort of like, it's so obvious. Like, I'm not going to put a reminder to like drink water on my phone. Like, are you doing it? Well, no. Well, then maybe we need to build in something, because it might be kind of obvious, like that you're supposed to pay the bills at the beginning of the month, but sometimes we just don't remember. So if there's something in your life where you're kind of, falling off and you know that you could be doing better because it would make you feel better, then use your technology.
I have a reminder to help me. It's time to get ready for bed. So I know I'm putting Jake to bed, but it goes off on my phone, which reminds me, like, this isn't time to just get Jake ready for bed.
Right.
I need to wind down. Like, it's my bedtime and my chill out time now as well. So that's been important to me. The other thing that I've been doing a lot of, Lisa, you'll be proud of me, is decluttering. Like, I literally came back from this event and I was like, I need to purge my life. I need to purge. I need to declutter. And I really do think that, and I know you believe this, Lisa, that our stuff pulls a lot of energy from us. So even, now's the time where I'm sitting down and decluttering my inbox, my email, my Facebook Messenger, my Voxer, all the digital decluttering that I need to do. All of that stuff is happening. And, we're still continuing to work on systems inside my business to make things easier. But yeah, we got rid of 3 huge garbage bags full of clothes. Like, I just came home and I was like, I'm done with all of this stuff. I love you and I'm never going to wear you because I only ever get dressed from the waist up. And not meaning I don't wear pants, but I've got my comfy jammy sweatpants on the bottom. But my hubby and I went and spent a night in a hotel room a couple weeks ago now, just for a change of scenery. Mm-hmm. And it was so nice to go, we were at the mall and one of my favorite stores was going out of business. And it was so nice to go in there and buy myself like 3 new tops that I love. And I felt like I had room for them because I had emptied my closet. I had no intention of going shopping. We were just kind of, lollygagging about, but it just felt really good to bring 3 new pieces of clothing into my closet that I love because I had gotten rid of so much stuff, and it helped to kind of clear my energy. So when I'm feeling like this, I'm always looking at what is it that I need to do to support myself, because it's so easy to just sink into the depression and be like, I'm going to do nothing and I'm just going to kind of wallow. Like, it is really this kind of dark hole that you can sink into, but to take responsibility and say, okay, what do I have control over here? How can I help myself? Do I need to bundle myself up from the, so you can only see my eyes, because I need to at least get outside and walk? Do I need to rest this morning, or do I need to get out and go do a workout, or can I do it later? What different, right now I'm exploring different workouts that I can add in to bring some more fun into my life. And I think we're going to be talking on another episode about having more fun. I'm going to start trying to bring in stuff like pole dancing and aerial, like hoop. I don't know. I'm strong. I need to be able to do something with the strength other than picking up dumbbells. So just getting creative and seeing like what else is available to me that's going to be fun and playful to help boost my moods. And I know, like, when summer does hit here in Vancouver, it's pretty spectacular. Mm-hmm. It's worth it. But I know that next year for sure it'll be a non-negotiable that our family takes a vacation somewhere in November or February, because I need a good week's blast of sun that's enough to carry me through. Like, I would never go over to Europe in the winter here. Like, what? That would be like from gray to gray. Mm-hmm. Can't even fathom. So that's where I'm at.
Well, and I just wanted to add one more thing in here, because I am actually on antidepressants, and I've been on antidepressants for a couple of years. And I think that is something that when you do need a bit more than a sun lamp, and there are times when it is worth going and exploring other options. I do intend to get off of them at some point. Last year I accidentally cold turkeyed when we did this exact same trip that I just came back from to England. And when I got back, I decided to try to stay off, because I was like, I need to get off them some point anyways, and I've just had 2 weeks off. And I came back to some really stressful and upsetting things happening in life, and I really kind of had a downward spiral and ended up going to the doctor, and we decided that I should go back on because I was not doing well. I lost a bunch of weight in really sudden, unhealthy fashion, and I was feeling really ill again. Stomach upset, kind of all the things I originally went to you for, Lisa Carpenter, in the first place, feeling all that upset, inflammation, vomiting, nausea, signs that something really is not right. So I did end up going back on them again. And I was thinking about too with remembering to take fish oil, because I've had such a bad time suddenly going off the antidepressants. I don't forget to take my antidepressants at night. I do forget to take my fish oil, and I should think of the fish oil in the same way I think of the antidepressant, and maybe I wouldn't need my antidepressant so much. And I do also think, again, like with my situation going on to antidepressants, it was very environmentally influenced, because the doctor I went to even said, I don't think that you are like clinically and classically depressed. I think it's, the lack of sleep, stress with my daughter was going through a lot of medical stuff at the time. Mm-hmm. She wasn't sleeping. I wasn't sleeping. And we were just all getting really, upset. And, my husband and I particularly were kind of just kept irritating each other all the time. And it was making life unpleasant on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. And it kind of managed to break through that and put me back into a place where I felt like myself again. I feel like I am normally an upbeat, optimistic, positive, relatively cheery person. So having a sustained period of time not feeling like that person, I didn't like that at all. So yeah, while I do intend at some point to get off them, right now I feel like that's something that keeps me in the mood and the place that I want to be. It assists. It's a very low dose, but it's just enough to just like kind of keep me out of my doldrums so that I can fall into as soon as anymore. Like I used to pride myself in college on being able to pull all-nighters. And when I toured in bands, I could drive all night. Like I used to feel like that was a source of pride to be able to push myself to not sleep for 24 hours or more. Now that's just insane to me. Like one night of poor sleep can really throw me off, and I really need my sleep bad now. So and another thing that from being on vacation that I was doing while I was gone was really taking time to read. Like I set a 100-book challenge for the year. I'm trying to do an audiobook and a regular either Kindle or physical book each week, and one being some sort of educational knowledge or self-help or business book, and then one being just fun fiction, short stories, novels, things that I want to read. And that's helped me a lot too, taking the time to do that. And I will admit I'm doing a lot less social media than I used to too, because when it's time to take a break, rather than being like, oh, let me get on social media and blah, 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 I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to turn away from that and go sit in this rocking chair back here and read my book for 20 or 30 minutes and just sit there and do it. And that makes me feel a lot better.
I love it. I love it. So, I think this is a good place to wrap up, but I want to say that self-care is actually like what Jen's talking about. That's a beautiful form of self-care. And a lot of us think that, like checking out is self-care. Like being online and spending a bunch of time on social media. It's like it gives us that endorphin hit. So we do actually feel a little bit better, but it's not like a long-term approach. It's not, that's like and it definitely trains your brain to look for that. And we need to sort of step back from that a little bit and kind of get back into this world. And, and reading is a really beautiful way to do it. So I think it would be a really great challenge to have our listeners read, for 15 minutes a day or something. So it doesn't have to be this, totally, most of us are reading all day long anyway. We're just reading on social media, but I'm talking about like on your Kindle, with your phone in a different room, or picking up a book and actually reading it. And I think like most of us probably really consider ourselves to be readers, but we also can spend a lot of time on social media. It's just, I think we could maybe like shift it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And part of it was James Altucher he recommended the 100-book thing, because he was saying that if you want knowledge, like if you want to be an expert in something, like if you read a couple books, you know more than most people. If you read 20 books on the subject, you know more than probably 80% of the people. If you read 100 books on one subject, like when he wanted to become a chess master, he said he read 200 books on chess and he played chess for a year. And at the end of it, he's a grandmaster. Like before that, he was just an average player. Not that most of us are going to be so single-mindedly focused in that way. I kind of think he reminds me of my uncle who has Asperger's, to be honest. I'm not saying James Altucher has Asperger's. I don't know. But that kind of single-minded focus on one thing until you absolutely master it. Yeah. Because even if you haven't put in the full 10,000 hours, 5 years of work, reading a lot of books on a subject means you have more knowledge than, a lot of people who are kind of interested in it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, anyway, it can go towards feeling mastery in your life as well as relaxation and just kind of like having brain work that isn't computer work.
I agree. And I think, the final thought that I have is if you are struggling with depression or your mood, whatever it may be for you, some people, your choice is your choice, I think that's what I want to say, right? Like if you're feeling like you can't get out of your funk, like some people can't just self-care their way out of depression. Just like a diabetic has to take insulin, some people cannot self-care their way out of depression.
Absolutely.
So do not suffer needlessly. Go talk to your doctor, and then you make the decision that's best for you. It sucks to not feel like yourself. So me personally, I've never been on antidepressants. There's a part of me that's really fearful of that. And that's okay, because I've learned how to really manage my depression, and I trust that even when when I'm not feeling like myself, I know that I will come out the other side, and that I have to just be willing to be with the discomfort of what I'm sitting in. But that's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. So really check in with yourself. Don't judge yourself on whatever your choice is, because it is your choice. And the purpose of this episode was really just to have a discussion about it, bring it to the table, and, kind of admit our stuff and what's going on for all of us, because we have just come off of a bit of a hiatus from the podcast as well, because we needed to, Jen was on vacation, and I flat out just said to Lisa, like, I just need to chill. I need to just chill out. And as much as I want to give back to everybody listening, I have to give to myself first. Otherwise, I don't have anything to give to anybody else. So on that note, we would love it if you would hop over to iTunes, leave a review, subscribe, rate us so that more people can find us. It amazes me how many people I meet that say, I listen to your podcast all the time. That's great. Leave us a review so that more people can find us, and we deeply, deeply appreciate it.
And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and leave us a comment on the episode. Let us know what you think. Let us know where you're at and what you need help with.
Mm-hmm. And come over and join our private Facebook group where we talk about all of these things and more. We'd love to have you. We'll put the link below.
Awesome. We'll see you ladies next time.
Bye. Bye.